Okay, most men are taught how to survive as a warrior, a king, a lover, or a magician. And unless you learn how to integrate them all, you will find that focusing on one leaves three loopholes. Now, this is the story a lot of the men I've worked with, including myself, have experienced, because a lot of us are taught to either be warriors. Okay, a lot of firstborn growing up in difficult households are learned that you have to confront things, you have to fix things, you have to become the person that's necessary in order for you to survive. Okay, and that a lot of times leads you into becoming a warrior, which automatically makes you reject weakness. Secondly is the king. The king is the person that has to lead, the person that needs to become what's necessary in order for the problem to be fixed. Okay, the person that leads themselves, right? But what are they gonna hate? The sheep, right? I'm gonna go deeper into this, but you get the point. The lover is not a fighter. They probably grown up in a position where it's safe enough not to fight because they either had two parents or they just had parents protecting them. So they didn't really had the need to understand what survival looked like in terms of being either a warrior or a king. And then you have the magician. The magician a lot of times is the secondborn. He observed the mistakes the firstborn made and learns how to sway or gain wisdom from other people's experiences. However, this is the overthinker too, right? Because of how much they're overthinking, they end up executing nothing. So I say all this to say, if you pick one, two, three, or like just pick one of them, they cannot stand alone. And a lot of men actually try to do that. Okay? I tried to do that. I was the warrior. I said I win or it doesn't matter. I don't matter. So weakness, vulnerability seemed like a crime to me. Why? Because it reflected the very thing I cannot afford to access. I cannot afford to be a warrior and be weak. I might as well already declare I have lost. The reason why a lot of men are struggling in today's generation is because a lot of them don't know how to accept their weakness and still stand. Once you understand that these prototypes were just strategies that were necessary in order for you to survive, you start to increase the amount of tools you have disposable to you to build the life you want. The integrated man is the man that has leverage in every single arena. And that's what every man should strive to achieve. That is this ultimate unlock. That is what the millionaire client I've spoken to, the guy that's making 500k I've spoken to, and the guy that's making 50k or 30k that I've spoken to all have in common. They may have leverage in one area, but the other ones are missing. I was in the call just before this meeting, and the person I was speaking to described that they were a lover, two-parent household. The mom was a people pleaser. Okay, I work with women too. So in this case and scenario, you can be a warrior. I'll probably say queen. Let's say queen. I'm going to make it as friendly as possible. If you're a girl that's decided to stick around for this, then kudos to you. I am going to recognize that it's also about queen. Okay? Alright? The queen leads. So the question is, that helps you understand what you had to become, is what did you have to survive? What did you have to survive growing up? What are you currently surviving as we speak? Because the warrior fights at every single opportunity he gets. But he's made that his personality. He can be trusted to say what needs to be said, yeah. But he can't be trusted to say it in a way that lands in an effective way to actually get the outcome. He's a warrior. He doesn't care about the outcome. He just cares about slaughtering whatever's in front of him. It's not until you integrate the magician that you then get an outcome as a warrior, because you do have to confront some things sometimes. You do. But the magician comes in and says, let's think about it. Let's strategize. What do we want to achieve out of this? How do we reverse engineer it? Okay? So it's the integration that creates the ultimate leverage the modern man has access to. A lot of you are striving to be like our parents and grandparents, and the question is why? We have access to things like ChatGPT, supercars, beautiful information, great weather, the ability to travel the world and do all sorts of things and work. Why do you want to be like your parents? Even they want you to be better than them if they truly love you. It's about evolving. It's about having a diagnosis of what they experienced and seeing how you can make your experience better. But guess what? The reason why a lot of us are retracting is because we're not even aware of the tools we have at disposal. Do you think I learned this in school? Okay, in the professional space. Amongst my friends, discussing anime. Where do you learn this stuff? You don't. Yet you're supposed to show up as the man that's supposed to be able to do all of them. Right? I saw a video. The guy said that a man nowadays is supposed to be Superman. He's supposed to be able to do all things. And the truth of the matter is, no, but you can if you want to. Like you really can. You really can get to a level where because of everything you want, you have to become the man that can sustain it. Because if you want to be a bum, you don't have to do anything. There's nothing you need to do. You want to be useless for the rest of your life? Do nothing. You don't have to be Superman. When you want to build a home, be a present dad, do better than your dad did, do better than your half of your peers, you want to become the man that people can respect and look up to? Oh yeah, the standard is high for that. Oh yeah. But that's based on what you want to become. So the question is, are you going to allow yourself to drown in victimhood, or are you going to pick up the tools that we're going to describe in this video and become the man your legacy needs? See, the reason why I don't like playing victim is because I already know that I'm not supposed to do it. I don't need to do it. Most of these people, once you're dead, you're dead. In 100 years, do you think you're going to matter? No. But you choose how you want to live your life and pay the price. Greatness isn't for everyone. You don't have to be great. You can be average, you can be miserable, you can be anything you want to be. But once you've decided, you do the work. I've decided that I want to build a legacy that I can hand over to my children, that they can utilize as a blueprint to navigate life. For that to happen, I'm going to have to step it up. I may not want to do the steps, but I have to do them. I may not want to have I may not want or care about a dad bod, but I've got to keep my physique intact. You decide what you want and stop making complaints about decisions that you should have made a long time ago anyway. You want to be looked out for and respected. Do the fucking work respectfully. Or don't. Do you want to make 100k a year, 500k a year, £1 million a year? Do the fucking work. Or don't. But don't sit there and complain about what you're not prepared to do. You can't have the results and not be willing to put in the coins, the reps to get the results. Right? I'm getting a bit motivational, but you get the gist. So let's dive in. So the warrior, okay? The warrior's shadow is weakness. What are we talking about when it comes to shadow? Shadow is the thing that pisses you off when you look at today's generation. If you're a warrior, weakness pisses you off. I can tell you that because I'm a warrior. It does my head in. I just spent 5 minutes grilling you and I don't even know if you're listening to me. But I know that I can feel that because part of me wishes that it was okay for me to be weak. That it was okay for me to say, stand back. You don't get to be a firstborn anymore. You can get to relax now. Stand back. You don't get to be a dad or a husband anymore. You get to relax now. I don't have that. I don't get that. I don't. Not if I want to be great. King. The king's shadow is someone that can't think for themselves. And let me give you an example. Most leaders, right? So I'm gonna digress a little bit, but not too much. So most leaders or men that I've worked with that have reached a certain financial respectable level, right? They don't actually like people pleasers. In fact, it wrecks their soul that they're surrounded by people that add no value to their journey. Do you want to know why? Because they don't get to do that. They don't get to be sheeps. They have to figure out whilst no one has. Can you see where I'm going with this? They have to look at the darkness and say, let there be light. They have to create. So yes, people that get to benefit from their creation, it pisses them off. Why are you this weak? Why can't you stand up for yourself? You don't even have the audacity. You want to know the best way to impress an employer? Show them that you're able to stand up for yourself. I kid you not. The moment an employer or a CEO or a founder can respect you, I promise you, you've got way more chances than being this doormat and saying, hey sir, do you want anything? What do you want? Would you want a cup of coffee? Would you need any? Do you want anything from me? Can I clean your trousers, please? Human nature, so interesting. Once you say, you can't unsee it. The lover, what's the shadow's lover? The fighter. They will fight the fighter, but they see themselves as lovers. We don't need to fight. What are you fighting for? We can just talk it out. We can just people please. We can give these people what they want. Guess what? Again, what irks them? What gets their shadow amped up? The fact that they don't know how to deal with fights. They don't have the capacity to deal with fights. They may even not be scared of people, but because of their system and their nervous system being wired into run, do not confront fights, anyone that fights exposes their blind spots, exposes the fact that this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. We don't need to connect here. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not going to care for these people? They turn empathy into a weapon. If you're not as empathetic as they are, there's a problem. Why are you not empathetic? Why can't you see that these people are struggling and suffering? You're selfish. That's their best word. Because it speaks directly against the fact that they don't get to be selfish. They're lovers. They need people. And then we have the magician. Oh, the magician is, in my opinion, the closest to having a touch of these, but it's because it gets to observe them all. The magician understands the full pitch, but if he doesn't take action, he's the planner. He's the person that executes, thinks things through, and bam, 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 bam. But if he overthinks, yeah, nothing happens. But he's got a great plan, an amazing plan. In this days, he'll be the person that's got Cloud Code downloaded, he's got ChatGPT Codex downloaded, and then he's got these amazing apps. I was speaking to a guy. He said to me that he's currently he's developing an app, and he has been for the past few years. And I said, okay, well, that's interesting. Didn't you think to use Claude? He said, you know what? It's not even that. I know I'm supposed. I'm trying to get to it, but what I'm going through right now is really, really tough. And I said, oh, really? Yeah. Like, it's just really, really messing with my head, and then I've got to do this, and then I've got to do that. And I was like, I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Is that okay? Can I ask you a few questions? Okay, cool. First things first is, what can you do as we speak? Now, have you done everything you can do as we speak? He said, no, I haven't. Okay, why? I don't know. Okay, so how about this? Do everything you need to do as we speak, and then worry about what else after. And he looked at me and said, okay, fair enough. And I said, look, it's taking you 2 years. I bet you money that in 2 weeks' time nothing's gonna change. He looked at me silently and he said, no problem. Do you wanna know why I don't chase people, for instance? There's some people that I jump on calls with and they say, yeah, in the end of the month I'm gonna sort this out. No problem, leave a thing. Do you wanna know why I don't chase people? They're magicians. But they're solely magicians. They've done the smart decision to take the call. They've understood that what the problem they're facing cannot be broken down by themselves because they've been doing this for years and all they have is confusion. They get to the call, they get a bit of clarity, and then they just disappear. And I'm just like, I won't chase you. When you're ready, book the call. And I'm saying this to say, if you're someone that's looking to build leverage by understanding what they truly have access to, by becoming the integrated man that can stand in front of the storm and not panic, book a call in the bio and I'll take you through the process. I'll be your accountability coach throughout the process. I've developed a few things on my website, so make as much use of it. And I'm currently developing and doing things, but I digress. My point is, book the call so that we can get things started. Now, what is the shadow of the magician? Guess. The impulsive action taker. Why are you just doing that? Why don't you think? Think before you speak. And this and that. Why? Because they don't get to do that. You see, your shadow will piss you off. Excuse my French for saying that, but it will frustrate you because it will directly expose the very thing that your mastery cannot achieve, regardless of how good you are. You may be the best musician, but executing with speed will always be something you hate. Why? Because it takes away the essence of the magician. The lover is always going to hate the fighter, because the question is, I don't know how to fight, but most importantly, I don't think that should be necessary. But it is. The king is always going to look at the follower and say, why are you such a waste of space? But when it comes to building a team, if you pick another CEO in 6 months' time, that person would have read your mind, understood how you operate, and would have left your ass. So as a king, you must pick followers. As a warrior, you must understand how to navigate weakness so that you can actually become indestructible. This is why when I work with people, and I'll give you an example. There's this guy, I'm gonna call him T. So T just had a breakup with his ex and didn't cry, right? Was a stepdad, didn't, nothing, like no emotions, completely grew up pretty much emotionally unavailable. By the time I sat down with him and I exposed what he's been neglecting about himself, he broke down. He was a warrior. But even warriors cry when they realize that they were the biggest liability to their strength. That's deep. Right, so, okay, I've explained to you the 4 archetypes. How do we connect them? How do we put them all together? Well, it's about understanding, first of all, where they come from. So you had to survive something. So you need to get out of survival mode, like I always say. Get out of survival mode by understanding that you no longer need to survive. You appreciate the warrior, you appreciate the king, you appreciate the lover, you appreciate the magician. But then you also understand that it's time to make space for the other archetypes. How do you make space for the other archetypes? You understand that the warrior needs the king. Okay? So in my case and scenario, when I understood that if all I was going to do was be a warrior, I would have hustled. So I'll give you an example. When I was a hustler, when I was a warrior in terms of business, I'd work from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. Okay? Execution, straight. I'm out delivering parcels and trying to run the business at the same time. The king stepped in and I started to delegate. I started to delegate warriors. Right? But because I was a warrior, I could spot a warrior. Right? And that was what scaled my business to 6 figures. So that's what an integrated man looks like. When they're able to delegate, when they're able not to attach everything they do to strength and power, they're able to step back and say, I don't care to be seen as the lazy guy. I just want the work to be done. You become the magician now. Why? Because you're strategizing. You're now trying to think of how does the business run without you. Okay? And I'm going to bring it back to relationships. Right? And then the culture comes in. The culture is what allows you to understand that connection is important. Relationships build leverage. Right? In my case and scenario, relationships was NHS. Right? I know, okay, I don't want to boast. I'm going to freaking boast. So some of the people okay, let me just give you an instance. Some of the people I have in my network. There's only I think there's 2 people, well, according to what I've been told, that are black and then in the Rothschilds funding group. And I know both of them. Okay? That's so dope. I'll kid you not. Anyways, I digress. My point is that came from relationships though. If I was to see them again, they'd generally be like, oh, Mac, how you doing? We'll have a proper conversation. Built a relationship. I understood their needs, they understood mine, and we built a relationship from there. Okay? Now, I'm not saying they're my best friends. I'm just saying we're acquainted. And that's what happens when you understand the power of networking and relationships. Because you're a king though. Alright? If I wasn't a king and I tried to get to love, I would have people pleased. So notice how in order for you to get to integrated, you must be able to understand what is present at the time at which I'm meeting the need that is required of me. If I don't know how to ask for help, I suck at relationships. And this is what you need to use. If you're currently going through things, use this as a map, okay? I'm a warrior. Yes, maybe I resonate the most with the warrior, right? What are the attributes of the warrior? The warrior fights. The warrior conquers. The warrior hustles. The warrior is willing to do the dirty work to get whatever needs to be done. The warrior confronts. The warrior is not scared. The warrior is fearless, right? So that's some of the attributes. What's the king? The king is a leader, right? Majestic, composed, carries himself with elegance. Some of you guys are wondering why women like certain men and they wear covers. It's their archetypes. The lover, a lot of times, knows how to connect after because they're good at connection. The warrior and the king is what make them feel safe. You want to make someone feel safe. Charisma and assertiveness is what makes the person feel like they're dealing with someone that's competent and secure in themselves. Okay? And then comes connection. The magician is the person that supervises your emotions and ensures that you think strategically. I'm going to end with this. A lot of people think that they're logical. And I'm telling you now, you cannot be logical until you handle your emotions as data that you utilize to make clever decisions. You are not logical if you're not doing that. Logic is the ability to look at all the information, not some of it, not what you're comfortable analyzing, everything, and making a clear decision. So if this video has served you, drop a comment below, but most importantly, understand that you must go from what you've survived to what is necessary for you to thrive. You want to build a healthy home, you want to become a healthy husband, you want to become a solid businessman that doesn't crumble under pressure. This is how you do it. You pour into the magician version of you, the lover version of you, the king or queen version of you, or the warrior version of you. That's how you become whole. Right? See, my thing is, I struggle to see, it's almost like it's either you're ambitious and ruthless, or you're non-ambitious and at peace with yourself. I believe that there's a space where you can do both and become whole. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting the best for your family. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to have peace within. Okay? But it's about creating the space that helps people get to that. So, like I said, if this video has served you, I'm glad it did. Comment below what your thoughts are, any questions you may have, any topics you want me to cover, and I will see you in the next one.